You want it to be one way.
What?
You want it to be one way.
Man, I don't
want
know
it to be
what
one
Man,
way.
stop. Stop saying that.
But it's the other way.
Yeah. That's what we doing. What up, YouTube? What up, YouTube? It's your boy Rain back again with another one. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell icon to get all those alerts when they're coming in here. You know, if you've never been here before, look, you're invited to do the same. You know, salute to all the subscribers and all the support that I've been getting. And let's get to it. Let's not waste any time. Jermell Charlo, please come to the front of the congregation. We got to talk about it. Jermell Charlo this weekend got arrested for having some sort of family domestic charge of some sort where he was arrested. They really didn't point fingers as to who or what he did so much, but at the same time they did. I think it's pretty much a safe assumption that this is something that happened between him and his wife or fiance or girlfriend. I know he has children with her, but ultimately it's safe to say that because there's a recording right now going around of Jermell Charlo actually admitting to attacking this young lady, right? Referencing it in an explicit way about hitting her in the eye closing, it turning purple, her being soft, and calling the police on him. And he just sounded kind of sick and deranged when he said it. But you know, that's the surface of it. You know, these type of issues, normally when you see these kind of issues, they usually they're like roaches, right? Now, I don't know if you guys are bougie and never had roaches or been around roaches, but for the people who are down to earth who understand how roaches work, you know, if we see one roach, see two roaches, it's safe to say you probably got about 1,000 plus roaches in your walls, right? Damn near an infestation, because they rarely travel alone and just straggling, kicking on their own. They reproduce like crazy. And when you see a situation like this where Jermell Charlo is getting arrested for putting his hands on his estranged girlfriend or fiance or wife, 9 out of 10 times it's not the first time that it's actually happened. It's usually deep, because I think for a man to raise his hand and close his fist, especially a closed fist, like, you know, open hand slap is still messed up, but a closed fist just is like no regard. To like punch a girl in the eye with a closed fist takes a lot of you know, I don't want to say sociopath behavior, but I think it takes a lot of lack of empathy to be able to do that, you know. And then especially to compound that, to be speaking to your friends, and from the tone of his voice sound like he is actually rejoicing and celebrating and almost finding some sort of you know, victory or some accomplishment or something in having done that. It's damn near sociopathic when you see it presented that way. When you look at Jermell Charlo over the years, I think it's hard for anybody to deny that Jermell Charlo has always shown, you know, some lack of control over his emotions, right? There's been plenty of scenarios where you'll see Jermell Charlo getting into it with somebody, threatening people, you know, not being a very pleasant person to speak with. He has this weird, you know, head cocking thing he does where he cocks his head to one side, and he always looks like he's ready to explode, like he's ready to give it up. And I think being that he was in boxing for all those years, he was able to cover that up with, oh, he's getting ready for a fight, he's in fight mode. And you know, that was becoming normalized to be able to see him that way. In his last fight with Canelo Alvarez, a matter of fact, when he was so calm and so humble in the press run for that fight, that it threw people off. That's how much we're used to him being emotionally just, unstable. And, it comes to thought that when you look at Jermell Charlo, which is his twin brother, and Jermell actually, owning up to his mental health issues and getting help for the problems he's having, and, letting the world know and not shying away from, listen, man, we all got stuff we're dealing with. I'm dealing with my things, and, seeking help for that. It's not far-fetched that his twin brother would also share in some mental health issues. Even watching the way he operates with Jermell, the way he was just kind of like, desensitized to like loving on his brother, or, having that family bond with somebody who you literally were in the same womb, right, at the same time, and came out at the same time. So you guys literally been together since the beginning of time, as far as you're concerned. And to be able to do that takes a different type of mentality. And I think it's not the first time, in the history of sports in general, but boxing, I guess, because we're speaking about boxing, but in sports in general, there's always been high competitive athletes. The male athletes, there've been plenty of, domestic violence issues that have arisen with them. And I think that's, part of that competitive mind, that if the competitive mind that's always on edge doesn't find a way to settle that edge in a healthy way, it can turn into things like of that nature, right? So at this point, Jermell Charlo is probably facing charges. The world is witnessing both sides of the whole entire view of the picture, right? Which is, one side is, yes, he obviously had a physical altercation with his baby mother, but the other side of it is him describing it, right? You can always say, oh, we don't know what happened. Maybe they got into a fight. Maybe they're violent to each other. Not that excuses it one way or the other, but I think it makes it a lot softer touch when it's left to the imagination as to what can happen. Because, coming from challenging situations, I've seen domestic violence show up in many different ways. I've seen men attacking women. I've for certain seen women attacking men. I've seen men and women attacking each other, going at it with each other. So you get used to seeing those kind of things, and being where he comes from and what his background is, many different things could be assumed if you didn't have this evidence that was just right there for you to see and listen to, as he just completely rejoices in what he did to this woman. So, needless to say, we don't condone that here at ATP Combat Media. And it's hard to have empathy for somebody like that, because I've seen a lot of panels right now where some people are just like, hey man, you guys should try to reach out to him. He probably needs mental health. He needs to, get him some therapy. He probably needs therapy. Sometimes not everybody's perfect. And it's like, not for this one. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? You're right. Everybody's not perfect. But once you go to, you only need to be a father like I am, who has 2 daughters, or have a mother, or have a sister. You only need to have those things to understand that nobody's trying to hear none of that nonsense. When you do something like that, especially like I said, compounding it with the actual audio of the way he's admitting to it, it is what it is. You gotta call a duck a duck. It's quacking, it's waddling, it's a duck. It's laying eggs. You know what I mean? It's a damn duck. So what goes on next for Jermell Charlo at this point? Who knows? I mean, he took this loss from Canelo Alvarez, a fight where he wasn't even competitive in the fight. He doesn't even look like he was trying to compete. Almost looked like he came for a paper grab, for a money grab. He had after that, right before the fight, he was stripped and had to vacate, or the belt was taken from him, his WBO title, which Brian Mendoza and Tim Tszyu fought, and Tim Tszyu won, and he owns that belt now. And then he had a defense that he was supposed to do against another Russian, which I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he decided to vacate that belt. I believe it was the IBF. He vacated that belt. So he's sitting on 2 belts at 154. What's the next thing for him? Terrence Crawford has made it very clear he has no interest whatsoever in fighting Jermell Charlo now, after that performance he had with Canelo Alvarez. I don't know, some people said he was thinking about going up to 160 pounds from the 154, maybe vacating both the other belts, or also maybe defending the 2 belts he has in that division, maybe going for a unification, fighting Tim Tszyu at this point, and maybe trying to unify and grab that WBO title back. I can say that after an incident like this, and not hearing from him for all this time, that it's you know, it's safe to say I haven't heard nobody asking about him. Nobody's been like, hey, what's Jermell Charlo been up to, man? We're ready to see him fight again. That last performance he had with Canelo Alvarez really put an asterisk next to his name. We'll just have to see what he wants to do. I would say if he comes back, it's either Tim Tszyu as far as like a money fight, you know, possibly. He's not going to get, Terrence would be the best option, but Terrence doesn't have any plans on fighting him. So, you know, we'll see what happens. You guys tell me what you think. What do you think the next thing for Jermell Charlo is at this point? I mean, outside of maybe jail or something, you know what I'm saying? Maybe jail or some sort of correctional facility, hospital, mental health hospital, admittance. I don't know. You guys let me know. What's next for Jermell Charlo? What makes the most sense for Jermell Charlo at this point where he's at? And on that note, it's your boy CLAYMORE. This is ATP Combat Media, the At This Point Combat Media show. I really appreciate you guys coming by. Once again, if you haven't, please go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, and we will see you guys next time.